It's a disgrace. Shedeur's draft stock has plummeted. Deion Sanders' public image is plummeted.
This little Rolex I got on. See that? You know one of the things that I never do with my watch?
Ladies and gentlemen, you know when the man with an absolute abysmal hairline gets to talking, gets to yapping, gets to speaking about things in the wild world of sports, we have officially reached the mainstream, the public consensus. And when he speaks on things, people have opinions. So I have a beautiful big opinion here. We're going to get into how Stephen A. Smith views this whole saga with Deion Sanders clapping back at some of his haters. You know, Shedeur Sanders, of course, flashing as he always does and getting on spaces and confronting certain ex-transfers from Colorado because of a certain athletic article. The Athletic, to be more specific, like the direction, not the ocean. And I want you to understand here, right? Is, again, I've made a video about this already. I've talked about this whole situation. I was in disbelief. I didn't think this was real. The fact that, you know, a coach who's already getting enough hate and scrutiny from made up things went ahead and did it. So, to be honest with you, I think it's a big ball move from, you know, as I get hit by this ad. I think this is a big ball move from Deion Sanders. I think Shedeur Sanders always has big balls, even when he doesn't need to. You know, a lot of things are said about Deion Sanders, so I'm happy that he thinks that he has enough gumption to talk back. But I wish you would talk back to, like, I don't know, not a fucking college person. How about that, huh? How about not to someone who's an ex-NCAA player? That's where it rubs me the wrong way. And someone who is a big Deion Sanders guy, I'm not vibing with that, cuz. Crody, I'm not fudging with that in any way, shape, form, or fashion. I think that's nasty. Now, I really hope Xavier Smith and these other people who, Jameer, whatever, Mr. Jameer right here, I really hope there were some really terrible guys for Deion Sanders, the actual coach, to really come out and tweet some crazy stuff like that. But let's see how Stephen A. Smith feels about the situation.
I don't like seeing any player castigate anything that he's associated with. But I need to be fair. And whereas I don't like a player speaking about it, and I certainly don't think that primetime Deion Sanders is playing for clicks, I do think that somebody who does need to be checked just a little bit is Shedeur Sanders. Nobody else is saying it, so I'm going to say it. You see this watch right here? This little Rolex I got on? See that? You know one of the things that I never do with my watch? I never did that.
No Diddy.
In my profession, quite frankly, I win a lot. Shedeur Sanders did that each time they won a game. When they were 3-0, he did it. When they beat Colorado State, and that coach was trying to talk smack at Deion and the program, Shedeur Sanders met him. I never did that.
No Diddy.
In my profession, quite frankly, I win a lot. Shedeur Sanders did that each time they won a game. When they were 3-0, he did it. When they beat Colorado State, and that coach was trying to talk smack at Deion and the program, Shedeur Sanders met him at midfield. Shedeur Sanders is miniature in my estimation, but he is a stud. He is a special talent. And even though they were 4-8, and even though they were 1-8 in the conference, and even though they ended the season losing 6 straight, it's not an indictment against Shedeur Sanders, because this brother is special. He can play, y'all. He was sacked 52 times, an FBS high 52 times at the quarterback spot. It was so bad in terms of the level of protection he wasn't receiving. Deion Sanders got to a point where even as a coach, he had to remember he was a dad, and I got to protect my son because look at what I'm exposing him to. I mean, good Lord. And still, this brother threw for over 3,000 yards, threw 27 touchdowns, just 3 interceptions, over 3,600 yards to be exact. Completed about 68% of his passes, if I remember.
God, I'm sorry, but people keep like, because Dion made the whole tweet about, hey, Shedeur's going top 5, blah blah blah. Now that's a lot, but if we're being honest, like Shedeur's already first of all, he was projected top 5 until he tweeted and did all this crazy shit. That's crazy. His stock actually dropped when he did that, but hey, that's real life. But like 3,600 yards, 27 touchdowns, 3 interceptions in the Pac-12 air raid with the most sacks in all of FBS. Like y'all gonna stop playing with Shedeur though. Like y'all can say he's silly, and I'm hard on him about this because I think it's crazy that you're of this stature and you're doing this silly shit. But remember, Shedeur didn't. I don't even think he started all the games. I think he was hurt or XYZ somewhere in the middle there, or I might be conflating Travis Hunter XYZ. But like there was a lot of weird stuff. But 3,600 yards, 27 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. And I remember when that article came out about like, oh, well, what he's really doing is he's holding the ball too long. He's taking too many sacks, and he doesn't want to mess up his completion percentage. It's like I don't understand that, dog. I've seen a lot of players try to not mess up their completion percentage, throw a lot of picks. But hey, let's get back into the actual, you know what I'm saying.
Shedeur Sanders can ball. I think he has a bright future. I think he's going pro. I think we all know it. I think he's going to be a spectacular young talent in the NFL one day. And I am not questioning his character by any stretch of the imagination. But it's not hard to see that some of this could be brought on himself. At the end of the day, you're 4-8. At the end of the day, you were 1-8 in the conference. At the end of the day, you did get blown out by Oregon on national television after you were 3-0. And you had the coach for Oregon talking about, we ain't playing for clicks. We ain't playing for social media. I don't have the quote in front of me. We're going to play out in the field. That's what he was saying. People were taking shots at primetime Deion Sanders. Let me say this. Deion Sanders can say anything he wants. He was an All-American. He's a 2-time Super Bowl champion. He is a Hall of Famer. And
I agree, except, again, when you're talking about young players and these things, I think that's a little nasty. I think not telling Shedeur to take the shit down that he was doing, I think that's nasty. But he's his own man. I get it. Whatever. You know what I'm saying? But come on, dog. Like, come on, dog. Right? I'm fine with Deion clapping back. But when kids get caught in the crossfire, that just don't sit right with me. But Deion does get a little more leeway.
Universally recognized as the greatest cornerback to have ever played the game of football. This brother was so elite that he shut down half a field.
All right, we're gonna have to skip past some of the cock munch here.
Go for Turner.
Oh wow,
Deion Sanders is so elite.
Jeez.
And when you
ever wondered why you should get an LLC with a third party when you can do it all?
So sorry, I had no idea Stephen A. had the cock munch in him.
Protection of your father, you force people to look at you, as opposed to looking at you protecting your father. See, when you hear them speak and you listen to them come out and say the kind of things that they say, well, guess what happens? You're thinking about their bravado and whether or not they have the record to back it up, which they don't. Then you're looking at the transfers. You're seeing what's transpiring, and you're wondering why are these people looking to go elsewhere. And I heard Deion originally.
And again, Stephen A. Smith doesn't watch football. He barely watches, basketball. So I get it. But yeah, Colorado and Alabama have the same number of transfers. Second year program that's switching over head coach. I think it's decently comparable. A lot of these SEC schools, a bunch of schools have a bunch of transfers in the 20s. Georgia has transfers outs in the 20s. Colorado's also transferred people in. oh, but Colorado doesn't do in-home visits. Yeah, and Deion has talked about why he does it, and why he relies on the transfer portal. And then you talk about his averages, and his averages for scouting is higher than the average cookie. But again, some people don't watch football. I'm sorry.
Speak on the transfers and talk about sometimes people are supposed to be handled. His children, who are young adults, not necessarily so. And I say this respectfully to Shiloh and Shedeur, two ballers who I believe have bright futures, who I wish nothing but the best. You're Shedeur Sanders' sons. That means you will always have my support because I love your daddy like a brother. But it is important that you understand how you're communicating and how you're coming across. Your dad has earned it, and he doesn't do that. I'm looking at a quote from primetime Shedeur Sanders, right? And I'm saying to myself, my goodness, this guy is something else. Because I've seen some quotes from him where he's just deferential. Said Lord's Jesus, and then he talks about humility and, just not bringing, not trying to hurt anybody and just smile at the person who hates on you. I'm paraphrasing here because I don't have the quote right in front of me. He says because they try to act like they hate you, but they really don't. They're just upset that they're
all right. He's
they're not in your.
He's getting in full on yap mode. Yeah. Stephen A. Smith had the takes that you pretty much expect. Shedeur needs to chill out. Shiloh needs to chill out. But this is a different generation. And that's like telling Caleb Williams you shouldn't paint your nails. Hey, you probably shouldn't do that. It's going to be looked at the wrong way. This generation, and I'm in this generation, was popping, was bracking. I would say all the things that people like to classify this generation as soft and dumb and naive. Now, I will say hard-headed. That is the definition of this generation. I guess Gen Z or whatever. I guess I'm an older Gen Z guy. Yeah, man, just some hard-headed fucks, just some knuckleheads, cuz. So I don't think this is gonna change any way, shape, form, or fashion. I think when you go 4-8 and you keep the same confidence and the same bravado to be able to flash your AP and get big, bad, and the biggest and baddest that you've ever seen, that shit ain't going nowhere, man. It's not going to stop. It's not going to stop anytime soon. But, hey, I appreciate Stephen A. Smith. I appreciate him coming out in his ugly-ass chain and his beautiful glasses because that boy stay with them spectacles, bruh. That boy be having them eye oculators. Not real words, but I'm saying them anyways. Man, I appreciate y'all for watching me, hearing me, listen to me yap. This particular video is coming to a wrap. Ugh. I feel like K-Dot. You be phenomenal. You be amazing. Leave a like on this video if you like it. Leave a dislike if you don't like it. Subscribe if you want to join the tribe, man. Did I tell you have a grass day? A grass day?